The Tigers are here for the final home game of the season. It's the Tigers against the Pirates. The Tigers are already up. The Pirates are in mid-table mediocrity. It promises to be an incredible afternoon for Hull City fans. Another capacity crowd at the Kingston Communication Stadium and a fantastic atmosphere. Let's run down that Hull City side. It's unchanged from last week. Boaz Myhill, Richard Hines, Andy Dawson, Damien Delaney, Mark Joseph, Ryan France, Captain Ian Ashby, Junior Lewis, Stuart Elliott, Stuart Green and Danny Allsop. On the bench, Paul Musselwhite, Jamie Forrester, Alton Thelwell, John Walters and Jason Price. The Bristol side, Kevin Miller, Ijaya Anderson, John Anderson, ex-Tiger, Christian Edwards, Adam Barrett, Ali Gibb, Aaron Lescott, Danny Williams, Dave Savage, Paul Tate and Lee Thorpe. On the bench, Junior Agogo, Bo Henriksen, Rob Quinn, Sonny Parker and ex-Tiger Ryan Williams. We'll leave it to Martin to introduce you to the crowd. Tigers fans behind the goal to our left this afternoon. Good following from Bristol. As Martin makes his way round, of course, Bristol Rovers now managed by former Oxford boss Ian Atkins, although team duties falling more to Russell Osman this afternoon, a man who has guided Bristol away from relegation trouble on a good run of form, and credit to Russell Osman, he's really turned things around. But I don't think you're going to hear me for a moment. Here comes the East stand. There be the Tigers in their usual huddle pre-match. Our referee this afternoon is Mr. Coburn from Lancashire. Can the Tigers end the season with a real high here against Bristol? We're about to find out. Peter Taylor is hoping his side will try and play as much attractive football as they can. Now the pressure is off. We'll see whether Bristol join in with those sentiments. I apologise in advance for the numbers on the Bristol shirts, which are not easy to read. We'll do our best with those. Ali Gibb is the player nearest to us. The front two this afternoon, Paul Tate, a former loanee with the Tigers, and Lee Thorpe, a one-time target for Jan Molby, spearheading the Bristol attack. Bristol getting us underway then. Long ball to that left-hand side, nodded away by Mark Joseph. Ryan France couldn't quite keep it in. France had an excellent game at Yeovil last week. Keeps his place ahead of Jason Price, who is on the bench. Bristol making a bit of ground down that side, but Lee Thorpe couldn't direct his pass, and then Danny Allsop wins a free kick. The foul coming in on him from Lescott, who's on loan from Stockport. It's going to be a crescendo of noise this afternoon. Mark Joseph will take the free kick. Lewis going for the short one. Lewis, whose performances have been excellent in the last few weeks since he's really attained full fitness. Richard Hines in for Alton Thelwell after it, because of illness last week, has kept his place at right back. And Elliott putting the Bristol defence under some pressure. Adam Barrett having to take evasive action. Hines to Ashby, looking to get France away down the right hand side, couldn't do so, but it will be a Hull City throw.
Attention please, Mr. James Taylors, please return to your vehicle immediately.
Richard Hines and Elliott exchange passes. Here comes Ryan France. Also had fallen over. France going with a shot over the bar. City may well get some profit early on if it takes Bristol a little while to just relax some of these surroundings. Very noisy. Russell Osman is down on the touchline for Bristol today. Ian Atkins is here, but in the director's area. As Miller sends it long, Delaney with a header away, Lewis with a little flick, trying to find Elliott, couldn't do so. And Williams got in first. Flag is raised for offside against Lee Thorpe, so it will be a Hull City free kick. Myhill to Delaney. France back to Richard Hines. Hines the long ball forward, looking for Allsop. Have to watch out for those balloons on the field. Ashby with a little flick header finds Junior Lewis. Dawson is available on the left. Back to Ian Ashby. Elliott. Now Dawson knocks it back to Delaney. Junior Lewis finds Allsop. Stuart Elliott deployed once again as a striker this afternoon, getting the nod over John Walters and Jamie Forrester. Long ball looking for Tate for Bristol, and Tate gets there and wins the corner. Ball coming off Mark Joseph. I don't think the Tigers defender was quite so in agreement to that. And Bristol with a chance to put some early pressure. Ali Gibb going across to take the corner, which means he'll probably swing it in with his right foot. Corner comes in, there's a few bodies there, it's hacked off the line. Bristol thought for a moment it had gone over the line, but early chance for the Pirates. Andy Dawson faced there by Dave Savage, gets the ball away to Richard Hines. Now Ryan France to Elliott. Has to knock it back to Ian Ashby, but Dawson's in space. In the end it goes to Stuart Green, playing on the left side of midfield. Now it's Dawson. Cross comes in towards France, but he can't get there. Lee Thorpe. And Bristol doing some tidying up. Edwards' pass was a weak one, and it's now with Stuart Green. Elliott makes the run. Elliott gets possession. Puts the cross in, but that's too near the keeper. Kevin Miller collects that one comfortably enough. Delaney defending well under some pressure. Ball out though for a Bristol throw. Gibb with the throw, finds Lee Thorpe, who lets it run. And Delaney was alert to that one. Barrett with a header away, but Ashby finds Elliott. Having a little run at Christian Edwards. Stuart Elliott. Allsop's gone to the far post. Here is Allsop, gets the header. Couldn't direct it into the path of Ryan France. Peter Taylor wanting a quick word with Andy Dawson. Some tactical information going out there to the Tigers left back. Good following from Bristol, making the long journey from the west. Miller with the kick forward. Delaney's underneath it. Finds Lewis, does well, retains possession. Feeds it down the left to Elliott. It'll flick inside to Stuart Green. To Allsop, back to Green once more. Checks back inside to Elliott. Elliott goes for the glory, and it's not far away. Kevin Miller just let that one go wide of his post. Experienced goalkeeper Kevin Miller, 35 years old now, bursting a few balloons on the pitch. He's been at Birmingham, Watford and Crystal Palace during his career, and Barnsley. 2 spells at Exeter, and it was from Exeter that he joined Bristol Rovers. Miller putting it into the City half, away by Mark Joseph. Thought with a flick on, Tate's made the move, but he's offside. not the most mobile of front two, the Bristol lads, both of them tall, Thorpe and Tate. Not the paciest forwards in the division, you have to say. Stuart Green. Now to Elliott, who's just tracked back for a moment. Dawson to Lewis. Dawson finding Mark Joseph. Inside to Ashby. Now across to Richard Hines. We've got some space to move into here, Hines. Goes sideways to Ashby. Allsop making the move, but it goes to Elliott. Now across to Andy Dawson, but it's given away, and Ali Gibb was quick to react, but so too Lewis, who forces Gibb to lose possession. Delaney now to Ashby, but Ashby was ball watching, and Bristol break forward. Here's Tate, looking to work the opportunity, and then gives the ball away himself. But Lee Thorpe does well, wins it back. It's back with Lee Thorpe once more. Danny Williams finding him with that pass. Dave Savage at the far post. Moves it back to Aaron Lescott, but he couldn't quite connect. Then Danny Williams is in there again. But Ashby with a firm tackle. Allsop's coming back to help his defence. Danny Allsop does well, forcing the ball out of play for a throw. Lescott unable to win the throw. It will be a Tigers throw down in that right-hand corner. Ashby looking for the quick pass to Stuart Green, finds him. Green trying to get past Gibb, wins the throw in. Delaney's pass overhit, will be a Bristol Rovers throw. Christian Edwards, signed on a free transfer last summer. Throw down the line, flick on by Tate, looking for Lee Thorpe. Joseph with a bit of a miss kick. It will be another Bristol throw. Ali Gibb sent back to the correct position, just rolls it back to Edwards. That one should be meat and drink for Boas Hill, and indeed it is. There's a quick throw to Ryan France over on that right hand side, inside to Ian Ashby. He switches flanks to find Andy Dawson. Green makes the run down the left. So it's gone back to Damien Delaney. Now Mark Joseph. Richard Hines back to Mark Joseph once more. Stuart Green faced by former Kidderminster man Williams. It's a long ball looking for Ryan France, but Lescott did well. Nods it back to his keeper. Delaney with the header, only nods it skywards and away. Ashby nodding it across to Richard Hines. Putting it forward. Allsop with a flick on, looking for Elliott. And Richard Hines can start things moving again from that right hand side. Lewis getting it across to Andy Dawson. Elliott making a move down the left for him. Allsop's available in the middle, but it's a poor pass from him. But equally, Bristol don't get it away, but it does go in the end, go out for a Bristol throw. flick on then by Lee Thorpe, finds Tate. But Delaney does well to block the intended ball through. Danny Williams, former Kidderminster man, whose last 2 visits to the KC has seen his side concede 10 goals. Edwards putting the ball forward, but again the flag is raised against Paul Tate. So it will be a Hull City free kick. Battle there, Lewis in the end with a nod back to Andy Dawson, then Green forced to hit it for early. Elliott's giving chase, but John Anderson just nods that one back to his keeper. Miller's ball forward, Lee Thorpe looking for the flick on, and a little bit of a tussle with Mark Joseph. And still that's going on after the ball's gone, a little bit of words exchanged there. Lewis wins a free kick, the tackle by Williams, an unfair one. And Delaney lays it across to Mark Joseph. Long ball looking for Elliott. Edwards with a header away. Ali Gibbs underneath it. That's a very strange clearance indeed. And Bristol give it away to Damien Delaney. Now Andy Dawson. Allsop chests it down. Couldn't bring Ryan France into it, and Anderson brings it away for Bristol. Now Williams. That's a poor pass from him straight to Damien Delaney, who brings the ball out of defence. Finds Stuart Elliott. And Elliott's pass, not a good one. Move breaks down. Lescott puts it back to Anderson for Bristol. And to the other Anderson on the left-hand side, surrounded by balloons at the moment. Lescott to Danny Williams. There's a beach ball on the pitch now. Lee Thorpe, some space to run into, invites the shot. The Tigers by backtracking there. Elliott does well, finds Stuart Green. Green cutting inside. Big roar from the fans. Ball out wide right to Danny Allsop. Allsop to Ashby, but the pass not a good one. And Ajaya Anderson puts it out of play for a Hull City throw. Referee wants the beach ball off the pitch. He also wants a word with Mark Joseph and Lee Thorpe, having something of a running battle this afternoon already. Just calming things down there, Mr. Coburn. But Allsop with a disappointing pass, and it's Bristol who come away with it. Tate making some space for himself. Williams back to Anderson. Now Adam Barrett. Away by Hines. France is there. And then Ashby clears. Play brought back for the free kick. In actual fact, Allsop was making a run down the right-hand side. Here's Richard Hines. Joseph. Long ball across to Andy Dawson. Stuart Green. Little chip pass looking for the run of Allsop. Elliott was challenging as well. Gibb clears for Bristol. Lee Thorpe is there. Can't get past Damien Delaney. Not many strikers do. And then Richard Hines brings it away. Now Ian Ashby. Cross to Andy Dawson. Looking for the run of Allsop. Anderson's there. Allsop's battling with him, and then John Anderson clears at the second attempt. Was, of course, Player of the Year last year, John Anderson. And that was for the Tigers, of course, but here's Andy Dawson. Stuart Green just clips it back to Delaney. Mark Joseph finding Richard Hines, and inside to Ian Ashby. Ashby to Andy Dawson. Elliott losing out, and it's Lescott bringing it away for Bristol. Lee Thorpe's in support down the right hand side. Firm tackle from Delaney, but Danny Williams picks it up, finds Ali Gibb. The cross in was heading towards Lee Thorpe until Delaney put it behind for the corner. No real efforts on target from the Tigers yet. Corner comes in. Myhill gathers well. Then his kick forwards headed away by Williams, but Lewis is there. Out of play for a Bristol throw. Kevin Miller bringing the ball out of his area. And knocks it deep into the City half. Away by Mark Joseph. It's back with Lee Thorpe. Gibbers make the run down the right. Gets the return pass from Lee Thorpe. And then makes a complete hash of it. Ali Gibb was signed in March from Stockport at the same time as Lescott joined on loan. At a time when Bristol were in free fall towards relegation, but they have, as I already said, turned things around well since then. Delaney, long ball, looking for the run of Danny Allsop. Allsop making good ground down the left. Collects possession, Elliott's in support. Allsop shielding it back to Stuart Elliott. Goes across to Junior Lewis. Now Mark Joseph bringing the ball forward. Switching it across for Elliott. Wins the header. It's too far away from Allsop, and it's into the arms of Kevin Miller. Dan Delaney with the header away. John Anderson heads it back. And Lewis knocking it down for Andy Dawson. Lewis across to Mark Joseph. And a nice pass from Lewis, but Green couldn't quite collect it, and then his pass behind Elliott, and a chance for Tate to bring the ball forward for Bristol. Ali Gibbs as well to keep that one in, but Dawson picks up the loose ball. And Dawson clears well. Green trying to get on the end of it. He does so now, finds Elliott. Has to hit it first time. Anderson gets in ahead of Danny Allsop. And then Lescott, but Ashby's in with a firm challenge. And the ball goes out of play off Lee Thorpe. Will be a Hull City throw. Oh, that's a little bit petulant from Lee Thorpe. I think the referee will have a quiet word with the Bristol striker, who's already testing his patience this afternoon. Already had a bit of a tussle with Mark Joseph, has exchanged a few words with Andy Dawson, as Richard Hines brings it away. France inside to Stuart Green. He loses out and Bristol build forward again. Savage's pass finds Thorpe, who gets a few boos. Now Ali Gibb back inside to Lescott. Gibb with the throw, finds Danny Williams. Nice cross in, finds Lee Thorpe, but it's a firm tackle by Richard Hines, but the flag was raised against Lee Thorpe for offside, but it was an excellent tackle by Richard Hines. But now here's Ian Ashby. So Cooper pass finds Ryan France. France down the right inside to Alsop, but away by Anderson. Hines throws it back to Mark Joseph. Ashby to Lewis. Ashby knocking it long down the left. Dawson giving chase. Cleared by Lescott, but only as far as a Hull City throw. That was a super pass from Ian Ashby that got Ryan France away down the right. Here is France again. Lays it back to Richard Hines. Inside to Alsop, lets it run. Elliott's in there. Another little flick from Elliott, but didn't find a Hull City man. And then Miller clears quickly, but not a good kick from him. Straight to Damien Delaney. Elliott's balked by Ali Gibbs. It will be a Hull City free kick. Elliott takes it quickly, switching flanks across to Richard Hines. Ryan France has to lay it back to Hines. Ian Ashby's ball forward. Looking for Dawson. There's an aeroplane overhead. Is it the Doncaster aeroplane, people are wondering? Elliott to Ian Ashby. Dave Savage with the interception, and then it's a good clearance from him, and he picks up the return pass from Tate, and it's gone out left to Lee Thorpe. Jaya Anderson in some space, but he goes sideways to Danny Williams. Lescott switching it back left to Anderson, and then Dave Savage collects. But after all that, the move breaks down. Elliott collects for City. He's got Green in front of him, but he runs into Lescott, who says thank you very much, and finds Lee Thorpe. Long ball from him to Anderson. Now back with Dave Savage. Tate. Only as far as Delaney. Now Stuart Green. Can he turn? He can. Green breaking away. 2 against 3 at the moment. Now 3 against 3 as Elliott joins the attack. Goes for the shot, but it goes wide. The referee's making a substitution. His linesman's coming off. It's an unusual sign. Is it the referee that's coming off? The 4th official is certainly coming on. Linesman from the far side has made his way across, maybe feeling unwell, perhaps, or somebody is, certainly. Looks like it's the referee who Mr. Coburn has had enough. The most senior linesman then will take over. So a bit of a delay at the moment. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but there we are. Mr. Coburn's leaving the field. Just a game at the moment bereft of goal-scoring opportunities for both sides. Bristol have come nearest. That shot cleared off the line. So the fourth official is on. He's going to go onto the east stand side of the pitch. The linesman's now in charge of the game. It's either Mr. Parry or Mr. Sutton. Don't have details of who had which flag, unfortunately. And there's a sight you don't see too often in football grounds. It's like Mr. Coburn will act as fourth official. Perhaps he just pulled a muscle, perhaps, something like that. And again, Mark Joseph involved in a little bit of a altercation, this time with Tate, the Bristol striker. He certainly stands up for himself, Mark Joseph, takes no nonsense. Here's Elliott. Stuart Green went down the left for him. In the end, the pass was a poor one. Williams collecting for Bristol. It's not quite clicking in the front two this afternoon, Elliott and Allsop. Whereas last week at Yeovil, they looked a pretty potent pairing. Bristol playing with three central defenders, so there's not a lot of space there for them. Savage with the ball forward, finds Tate. And then Lescott does well to find Ali Gibb on his right-hand side. Ali Gibb going forward. Cross to the far post, but Myhill collects. Andy Dawson's ball to the far post. France with a header wins it. Green's there. Stuart Green.
Attention please. With David Hudson, the reserve official, please make the way to the players' tunnel, please, immediately. That's David Hudson, the reserve official. Please make your way to the players' tunnel immediately. Dawson
with the ball into the box. France is there. Can't get on the end of it. It's nodded away. Now it's with Junior Lewis. Green to Allsop. Danny Williams bringing it away and now finds Ajayi Anderson on the left-hand side for Bristol. 14 minutes left of normal time in his first half. Will be a period of injury time, of course. Green to Ashby. Now Elliott, can he get there? Just, but not enough to get possession. Stuart Green, forward he goes. Good Allsop in the middle. Ashby and Elliott joining him. Finds Danny Allsop. Has to go backwards for a moment. Now to Ian Ashby. Elliott's on the left. Uses Elliott. That's not a good cross from Stuart Elliott. It's away by Edwards. Elliott can try again. Nods it back to Ian Ashby. Ball into the box. France is there. Wins the header. But he's judged to a foul in doing so. Kevin Miller's long ball forward. Again, Paul Tate adjudged to a foul. This time it was Richard Hines. Lewis across to Andy Dawson. Elliott's pass finds Stuart Green. Now Junior Lewis. Danny Allsop. Ashby's got Richard Hines on the overlap, plenty of bodies in the middle. Hines couldn't lift his cross past Ijaya Anderson. Mark Joseph has it. Well, the last time Hull City scored one promotion when they played the home game afterwards, which was, I think, just a few days later against York. I was there, and they were well and truly hammered at home by York City that day. It ended up 3-0 to the away side. No sign of that happening this afternoon for Bristol at the moment. The Hull City side won promotion at Walsall in that year, and then played York City, I think it was on the bank holiday Monday afterwards. Here's Andy Dawson bringing the ball forward. Now Stuart Green to Elliott. Green finds Lewis. Wants a bit of movement, Junior Lewis finds Stuart Green. Allsop trying to get there. Bit of a tangle, the referee will have to drop the ball. Needs a Hull City volunteer at the moment. Finds its way to Ryan France. Hines to Ashby. Now it's with Andy Dawson. Lewis does well, switches flanks across to Hines. Hines again can't get his cross in, disappointing. The fans not impressed. Dawson finds Danny Allsop. Then Junior Lewis. Elliott feeds it left to Andy Dawson. Lewis to Ashby. It'll dig forward, finds Allsop, and then it's Richard Hines again. Needs a good cross this time from Hines. It's better, it's in towards Lewis. Here's Junior Lewis, almost fell for him. Oof. Firm challenge by Lee Thorpe. The referee somewhat belatedly blows his whistle for the foul by Lee Thorpe, who's nothing if not physical in his approach. I suspect that Bristol Rovers fans are happy because perhaps Bristol City might be losing in their game, or things aren't going well for their local rivals. All of a sudden it's brought the Bristol fans to their feet. The other Bristol side going for promotion to Division 1 today. Dawson's throw back to Damien Delaney. Dawson looks for the run of Danny Allsop, couldn't find him. Elliott battling with Gibb, who hasn't exactly covered himself in glory down this right hand side in the first half. Dawson finds Delaney. Elliott. Stuart Green was an inside pass opportunity there, was missed. Now it goes to Green, does well. Finds Lewis. Ryan France back to Stuart Green and across to Andy Dawson. Just finding a way to open his Bristol defence up. Ashby also can't get there, mainly because Dave Savage did, and then Bristol break quickly. Here's Tate bearing down on goal. Gone all the way on his own, and then it comes to nothing, and that was pretty selfish play from the Bristol striker. Lee Thorpe was the option down the left, but he had only one thing on his mind, Paul Tate, and that was to try and force his way through the Tigers' defence. It didn't happen. Here's Green. Ryan France, can he get there? He can. France puts a cross. Here's a good cross. Elliott challenges. Comes to Alsop. Flag was raised for the foul on the goalkeeper. The referee is going to have a word here with Mark Joseph, and I think Lee Thorpe as well. Is it just going to be Lee Thorpe? We'll have to wait and see. He's blowing his whistle furiously. Well, that's about the third talking to that Lee Thorpe's had in this first half. Mr. Coburn, the referee, had a few words with Lee Thorpe. He had a few more words with him when he threw the ball at Andy Dawson. And now the replacement officials had a few words with Lee Thorpe, and I would imagine if he transgresses once more, he will be seeing a yellow card. Here's Delaney bringing the ball forward. Long ball towards Ryan France. He knocks it back and does well to find Richard Hines. Now Stuart Green. Lewis. Green finds Andy Dawson. A chance the Tigers on the overlap here. Good cross coming in. Lewis couldn't get there. It's away by Barrett, but it comes out to Richard Hines. Puts it back in. Lewis is there. Little flick on to Elliott. Has to knock it back to Andy Dawson. First time cross to find Green. Had sight of goal, Stuart Green, but couldn't keep his shot down, and I suspect because Peter Taylor so much wants to win the final game of the season, he'll be thinking about how he can change things around at half-time to unlock this strong Bristol defence. Must be a strong possibility of Jason Price coming on. If Price was to play down the right, he'd have a physical advantage over Ijaya Anderson. But then, of course, he can play through the middle as well. Savage finds Williams, but it's a poor pass from him, and France, who's done nothing wrong, incidentally finds Stuart Green. It's a Hull City throw. The Tigers also have John Walters and Jamie Forrester on the bench if they want to change things around. Game just a little bit flat at the moment, as these affairs often are. Bristol fans seem to be so happy at the moment that Bristol City are losing. It's taken their mind off the game. Here's Lewis. Dawson being shadowed by Thorpe. Let's get it back to Delaney. Now Lewis. Ashby finds Green. Green breaking forward. It's a good pass, and Danny Alsop is there. Can he get on the end of it? Not quite. It's the best opening we've seen from the Tigers. At last getting Danny Alsop through. Alsop couldn't quite get his shot on goal. Hines finds Ryan France. He's back with Richard Hines once more. Ashby bringing the ball forward. Oh, it's going through Alsop, who is flagged offside. Alsop doesn't realise he's offside. He's going to get a horrible surprise in a moment. The linesman's flag was up immediately against Danny Alsop, who finished with some aplomb, you have to say. Free kick for the Tigers, although Stuart Green had come to collect there. No advantage played. The fourth official, who was the main official, will shortly give us the number of minutes to be added on. Hines finds Green. Ooh, there's a bit of a strong challenge on Stuart Green, which takes his ankle, and really perhaps deserved more than just a little mention from the referee. Ex-Tiger John Anderson it was. It's taken quickly. Miller comes a long way, flaps at it, and is lucky to get the second attempt after laying out his own defender. And what was Kevin Miller playing out there for the Bristol? Came a long way for it and slapped his own defender in the face as he made a bizarre attempt to get the ball. One minute of normal time to go. Bristol player still on the floor receiving treatment. Adam Barrett it is who took a bang in the head. 24-year-old Bristol defender. Has scored 4 goals this season. Sprays some water at his goalkeeper. Exchanges a few words with Kevin Miller and forgets momentarily that he has to leave the field. Miller is most apologetic, but I don't think Adam Barrett's forgiven him yet. Bristol fans still full of voice. Stuart Green returns the ball to Bristol, and Adam Barrett is back on the field. So into time added on. Dave Savage bringing the ball forward. Finds Anderson, but he can only shepherd it back to Danny Williams. Back to his keeper from Barrett. Delaney heads it away. Then Savage nodding it forward. Ashby does well. Stuart Green trying to get on the end of it. He can't do so. Barrett finds Anderson, and then France puts the ball out of play for a Bristol throw. Savage's pass cut out by Lewis. Still Junior Lewis bringing it forward. In the end, his pass too was cut out by Lescott. Lee Thorpe. Ashby's tackle can only divert the ball to Tate, but in the end, Thorpe is going to find himself yellow carded. Well, he can hardly say anything about it. In fact, he doesn't. Has a little word with Ian Ashby about it. Might not be the most sensible thing to do. Here's Stuart Green. It's a good pass from him, although he felt a strong challenge from Aaron Lescott after the ball had gone. Ashby finds Hines. Now Ryan France. Mark Joseph. Dawson finds Green, who's switched more and more to the middle. And does well to find Richard Hines. It's a useful ball in. It comes to Elliott. Oh, took Elliott by surprise. Didn't react. Here's the most popular man in the ground, Lee Thorpe. Lays it back to Ali Gibb. Ian Atkins has gone down to the touchline to get some instructions out to his Bristol team. Hines inside to Stuart Green. Just can't open the Bristol defence up. That's the half-time whistle. It's goalless at half-time. A half with not many chances, and to be total, in fairness, Bristol came the closest. The ball hacked off the line early in the first half, and still all to play for. 0-0 at half-time. So the Tigers getting us underway for this second half. No changes at half-time for either side. We'll see City alter their tactical approach during the second half. France with the header. Danny Williams clears. Then Adam Barrett with a long ball forward, which Andy Dawson collects. Now Elliott's making some ground down the left. Still Elliott, and then he's taken down when it appeared that he was going to get a clear run. And if that didn't merit a talking to from the referee, I don't know what does. Elliott would have been breaking clear. The ball comes into the box. And the header just over the bar from Stuart Elliott. Be interesting to see if there's an appearance from Jamie Forrester in the second half at all. His future at the club perhaps a little bit uncertain. Hasn't been used a great deal, you have to say, this season. Mainly as a second half substitute. But he's doing some warming up, so too Jason Price. As Elliott's header forward. Can't find Danny Allsop. Andy Dawson collects. Ian Ashby. Long ball to Richard Hines. France runs it out, and Bristol bring it forward with Danny Williams. Now Lescott puts it left for Jaya Anderson. Lescott's continued to make the run, gets his shot in, flashed wide of the left-hand post. And it's the first time Bristol have threatened in a while. Here's Hines to Ryan France. Looks like Jason Price will shortly be entering the action. Not greatly surprised by that. They're interested to see exactly where he goes on to play. Jamie Forrester also looking as though he might get a run out. As Savage feeds it inside to Williams. Poor pass from him, and it's come now to Stuart Green. Indeed, Forrester and Price will shortly be entering the action. Here's Allsop. France shepherds it to Stuart Green. Ashby out left to Andy Dawson. Cross comes in, but Barrett nods away. Ashby gets it across to Richard Hines. City player down is Stuart Green. Might just need a little bit of treatment. And so Simon Maltby will administer some treatment for Stuart Green. Might just mean that Hull City hold their substitution plans for a moment or two. Be nice to see Jamie Forrester having a decent run out for the second half, around 40 minutes or so of action for him likely. I'll say uncertain whether he'll be at the KC next season or not. He's expressed a preference to stay with Hull City, but with speculation in the media that 4 to 5 players could be coming in, it'll be interesting to see where that leaves the likes of Jamie Forrester and Paul Musselwhite and so on. Stuart Green hobbles across. Peter Taylor will have a little word and see if Stuart Green's okay to continue, I think. Doesn't look as though he's too badly injured, and I think the affirmative is that he's going to be back on the field shortly. Green's back on. Lee Thorpe, who gets a few boos, collects for Bristol. I think he quite enjoys his notoriety, Lee Thorpe. It seems to give him a bit of a buzz going forward for Bristol. But here's Ashby with a clearance for City. Firm header by John Anderson. Delaney gets it across to Richard Hines. Hines knocks it back to Myhill. France climbed but couldn't get the header, and the Tigers are now going to introduce Jamie Forrester and Jason Price, so we'll see who the players to be withdrawn are. Once the fourth official's got the hang of the scoreboard. Richard Hines, the first man to come off, to be replaced by Jason Price. Looks like Ryan France will slip back to right back, and it's going to be number 8, Jamie Forrester, replacing Junior Lewis. Junior Lewis, another player whose future at Hull City is a little bit uncertain, here on loan at the moment. Whether or not Peter Taylor would like to or can make that into a permanent move will depend on a number of circumstances, financial I suspect. So a chance for Jamie Forrester and Jason Price to make a difference this afternoon. It's been a little bit flat so far. Certainly we'll give the Tigers more attacking options. France has gone into the right back position, which will give City plenty of width down the right hand side against I say Jaya Anderson, who's not the biggest of full-backs. And here's Ashby, finds Forrester. It's a weak pass from him, but he gets away with it. France with a firm tackle on Anderson. Price follows up. Anderson stayed on the floor. Didn't think it was that bad a tackle from Ryan France. Tigers play on. Anderson stays on the floor, but Forrester very generously puts the ball out of play. Anderson requires some treatment. So Jaya Anderson getting some treatment on the pitch. We'll see whether or not Bristol Rovers will introduce former Tiger Ryan Williams this afternoon. I'm sure he'd love to get on the pitch. I'm not quite sure what reception he'd get, I have to say, but I'm sure he'd love to come on. Doing some warming up for Bristol as we speak. They also got Junior Agogo on the bench, who scored in the game down at Bristol earlier this season. But Jaya Anderson getting some treatment there. Was previously with Peter Taylor when he was at Southend. He went on to play for Brentford, Jay Anderson, 28 years old now. He's gingerly made his way to the touchline. Bristol return the ball to the Tigers. Anderson wants to come back on. Gets the signal to get back on as Delaney puts a searching ball to the right. Adam Barrett gets the header in, but Ian Ashby is there. Good pass from him. Here's Jason Price. Price to the far post. Comes to Stuart Elliott. Keeps it in play. Flicks it back in. Price is there again, but he can't get on the end of that one. And that Jair Anderson brings it away for Bristol Rovers. Danny Williams, then inside it goes. France heads away. Forrester back to Ashby. Stuart Green bringing it forward. Now it's with Jamie Forrester. Back to Stuart Green, but a good tackle from Danny Williams comes in for Bristol, and he shepherds it away to Aaron Lescott. Long ball towards Lee Thorpe. Thorpe looking for a bit of support that he didn't get. Ashby digs it away to Elliott. Elliott having a bit of a battle, and he loses out in the end, and Aaron Lescott did well for Bristol. Lee Thorpe then to Ali Gibb. Back with Lescott. Dave Savage. Forrester does well. Jamie Forrester, cross coming in. Elliott making some ground. It's out for a corner. So Tigers with a chance to put some pressure on this Bristol goal. Plenty of bodies in there, the cross comes in, Elliott goes up there, and it's in the back of the net! Jason Price is the scorer! The man on as a second half sub gets the header into the bottom right hand corner. Goal number 9 for Jason Price, and it's 1-0 the Tigers. Well, he's looked busy since he came on, Jason Price, causing problems down that right-hand side. The shirt came off when he scored, it's back on now. What a super header it was, beating Kevin Miller, going down to his right. But in the bottom left-hand corner as we looked at it. So that's certainly got the home fans in full voice, quieting the Bristol fans down a little bit, and just to see if Bristol decide to make a bit of a game of it. Junior Agogo has got his tracksuit off, ready to come on and join the action, and really Bristol haven't threatened through their front two this afternoon at all. Tate and Thorpe not having much change out of the Tigers' defence, so we'll see whether Junior Agogo will make any difference. Danny Williams feeds it out across to Ali Gibb. suspicion of handball. The referee had a good view of that. Delaney does well, finds Forrester. The Tigers breaking forward. Delaney still with him. Still Jamie Forrester. Finds Delaney on the left-hand side. Still Delaney! Oh! What a goal from Damien Delaney! The ground erupts. That was a fantastic finish from Delaney. But credit too to Jamie Forrester. Fed him in down the left. Delaney going back onto his left foot. And curled it in the top corner. A fantastic finish from Damien Delaney. And all of a sudden the Tigers are 2 goals ahead. But absolute credit to the man who will surely be Player of the Year. He continued his run, he brought the ball out of defence. He did so excellently well. And then the finish was in the top corner of the net. Here comes Stuart Green breaking forward. Shot goes over the bar from Green. But the crowd are expecting more goals, I think. Bristol still haven't got their breath back, I don't think, after conceding those 2 quick goals. They're going to make changes, Bristol, shortly. That was some goal from Damien Delaney, you have to say. Here's Jamie Forrester. Junior Gogo still waiting to come on for Bristol, making his way to the touchline now. Well, Jason Price and Jamie Forrester have certainly made a difference. So Junior Agogo comes on for Lee Thorpe, who has not endeared himself to the Hull City fans. Rob Quinn is coming on as well. Well, he will be in a moment anyway. Bristol will have to wait before making their second substitution. Here's Andy Dawson breaking forward now, finds Forrester. Alsop can't thread it back to Jamie Forrester, and Dave Savage brings it out for Bristol. But Agogo slipped at the wrong moment. Delaney finds Stuart Green. Exchanging passes with Ashby, now it's Price. Back with Ryan France. Rob Quinn is coming on shortly, the number 8 for Bristol's been playing in a wide position. We'll see where he's going to join the side. Here's Alsop trying to feed Elliott through down the left. The ball goes back to the keeper. Miller digs it out. Ashby does well, finds Andy Dawson. Elliott's in an offside position, but it's his track back now. And Bristol will make their second substitution. So Ijaya Anderson, who's had a pretty torrid time since Jason Price came on, is leaving the field, and Rob Quinn comes on to replace him. Quinn did play in Bristol's last match against Lincoln last week, but left out of the starting lineup today. No sign yet then of Ryan Williams. Will Bristol give him a chance to play against his former side? It would be a bit mean not to, you think? Here's Elliott. Finds Ian Ashby. Price is in some space down the right, and Ashby finds him. Jason Price drills it in. Couldn't find Elliott, and Lescott clears, but Ryan France does well, picks up possession. Still Ryan France. Lays it back to Stuart Green. He knocks it further back to Mark Joseph. Jason Price tracking back down the right. Finds Ashby. Joseph puts it back to Boaz Myhill. Junior Gogo makes a bit of a mess of that one, gets himself caught offside. And at how many football grounds do you hear the chairman's name being sung by the fans? Very few, I would say, but that is the adoration the Hull City fans have for their chairman and indeed for their manager this afternoon. Adam Pearson on the radio before this match saying that his gut feeling is that Peter Taylor will be Hull City manager next season unless a club with the stature of Tottenham were to make him an offer he couldn't refuse. Kevin Miller then with the kick. Delaney's header finds Elliott. No free kick awarded for the challenge on Elliott by Gibbon, and Elliott says that he won the ball. And I can't believe the referee is reaching for his pocket. What a disgraceful performance by the referee. He's going to book Stuart Elliott for that challenge, and if that was dangerous play, then, well, I just don't understand what's happening out there at the moment. Elliott felt aggrieved that he was not given a free kick himself for the challenge by Quinn. He tackled back, but hardly in a malicious manner, and the referee felt that was necessary to yellow card the Irishman, and I find that very strange indeed. 22,500 in the ground this afternoon. Here's Dave Savage for Bristol. Gogo trying to go forward for Bristol. Ali Gibb on that right hand side feeds it back to Williams. Cross comes in, Tate's there, and in actual fact it was Ryan France, was it, who got the final touch? I'm not sure. Tate holds his head as though maybe it came off him last. Good save though by Boaz Myhill. And Delaney with the clearance. So Bristol trying to build down his left-hand side. Here's Dave Savage with a cross to the far post. Headed away by Andy Dawson. Collected by Stuart Elliott. Dawson trying to find Green. Rob Quinn is there for Bristol. Danny Williams, long ball to the left. France chucking back, gets a foot in at the vital moment. Then Myhill with a quick throw, trying to get Jason Price away down the right-hand side. Early pass from him finds Jamie Forrester. Now Stuart Green. It's Jason Price's pass, asking a little bit too much of Stuart Green.
This afternoon's attendance, 22,562. 22,562.
Alsop blocking the forward pass there from Barrett. So it will be Hull City throw. Ryan France at the halfway point in this second half. 2-0 the Tigers lead in this final game of the season. The second goal from Damien Delaney would have been a contender for goal of the season had it come a bit earlier in the year. He would have been vying with himself, I suspect, for the top goal of the season, and the referee gave the free kick to Hull City there, but didn't show the yellow card to the Bristol player for the foul. Where is the consistency, you have to wonder? So a chance for Ian Ashby, who he likes to have a dig, does Ian Ashby, on the mood takes him. 2 goals this season, both been spectacular affairs. Will he have a dig from this range or go for the little chip? It's going to be Stuart Green. Ooh. Didn't quite test the keeper enough, Stuart Green, but the idea was quite good. And it's going to be Bo Henriksen to come on shortly for Bristol. Well, that's a bit mean in my opinion. I thought they might have put Ryan Williams on against his old club. Bit of sentimentality, but it's not to be. Adam Barrett bringing it forward. And Stuart Green's ball finds Jamie Forrester. He lays it back to Stuart Green. France to Joseph. Bit of one-touch football from the Tigers. Jason Price tries to keep it going. Couldn't quite do so. It's a Bristol Rovers throw, beg your pardon. Bo Henriksen, of course, is a striker. Will probably go in and join Junior Agogo when he comes on in a moment. Here's Ali Gibb going down the right-hand side for Bristol. Out for a Bristol corner. Mexican wave starts round the ground as Bristol get a shot forward. John Anderson it was, who would have enjoyed that had it gone in. The Tigers get the ball out. Now we'll see if the Bristol fans join in with the Mexican wave in a moment as they try and break forward. The cheer was because the Bristol fans did join in, but here's Elliott bringing it forward. Might fancy a dig from here, Elliott. He does. Oh, what a goal! Spectacular goals this afternoon from the Tigers, and Elliott joins in. And what a difference this second half from the first. A super finish from the Irishman, although I think Kevin Miller might wonder how he was so easily beaten from that distance, but beaten by power, presumably. Elliott gets the goal. It's 3-0 the Tigers. The party has well and truly begun as Bo Henriksen joins the action for Bristol. Tate leaves the field. He's not had a very happy afternoon. Henriksen is not a player who's particularly impressed in his recent visits to the KC with Kidderminster. We'll see whether he can do any better today. Delaney in a bit of pressure, but does well. Feeds it across to Ryan France. Ian Atkins getting some stick from the Hull City fans. Had a few comments to Ian Atkins earlier this season when he was the Oxford boss about the amount of money that Hull City have supposedly spent. So inevitably he's going to get some stick from the home fans. I dare say he expected it. Alton Fairwell will be joining the action shortly. The Tigers then 3-0 ahead. Stuart Green with a header, finds Jason Price. Well, that bus tour around the city of Hull tomorrow is going to be a pretty happy one. It was always going to be a happy one, but after a potential 3-0 win this afternoon, it's going to be even better. Bristol trying to make a game of it still. That's a poor pass from Lescott, and Andy Dawson finds Ian Ashby. Jason Price on his right hand side. Just wonder if Jason Price is 100% at the moment. Mexican wave continues as Stuart Green. The conga has started in the east stand as Elliott puts the ball forward, but it's cut out by Ali Gibb. Jason Price will be the man to come off shortly for Alton Thelwell. I think he's maybe aggravated his hamstring. But he picks up possession now from Ryan France. Peter Taylor is anxious to get Alton Thelwell on. And here is Jason Price. And sadly for him, injury means he's going to have to leave the field. Mexican wave continues round the ground. The conga is in the east stand. Credit to the Bristol fans, they're still joining in the Mexican wave. Real credit to them. Their side 3 goals down. They've been very vocal themselves this afternoon, making plenty of noise, but it's a bit sad for them at the moment as their side try and get themselves at least a consolation goal with around about 15 minutes of normal time left. Will there be any more goals from the Tigers in this second half as Lescott brings it forward for the Pirates? But really, the truth be told, for Bristol, they've not created that many chances. Tate had their best chance on 67 minutes. Forced a good save from Boaz Myhill, but apart from that, they've not offered too much as Gibb puts the cross in. And that's the story of the afternoon for Bristol. Nobody anywhere near the end of it. Dave Savage collects for them. Ryan France cuts out the cross, and it's out for a throw-in to Bristol. Sean Anderson and Peter Taylor having a few good-natured words. Anderson forced to put it back to his keeper. The congas come to a premature end in the east stand. Junior Gogo coming forward for Bristol, goes for a long-range effort, but it's a tame one. Easily collected by Myhill. Elliott, scorer of spectacular goal number 3 for Hull City. We've seen 2 real crackers from Delaney and Elliott this afternoon, and the first one from Jason Price was very well taken. And France does well, goes down the right hand side. Still Ryan France, but good tackle back from Lescott, who's been perhaps Bristol's most impressive player this afternoon. Aaron Lescott in the midfield. He's tackled back well, been a busy little player. He's popped up in a lot of places. And again, he's played for some quality clubs in the past, Lescott, with a good football pedigree. Cross from Gibb is too near to Damien Delaney, who has time to control it and think about where to put it, and he puts it on a sixpence for Jamie Forrester. And Alton Thelwell wants to get in on the act. He's racing down the right hand side. Just sells Jamie Forrester short there, unfortunately, but Danny Alsop gets in ahead of Dave Savage, who looks very tired. Stuart Green back to Ian Ashby. France. Green breaking forward. Bristol do look like a bit of a tired side at the moment. There could be more goals for City. Here's Thelwell. Dave Savage, if he can barely stand on his 2 feet at the moment. It's out for a corner. More opportunities for the Tigers to put the Bristol fragile looking defence as it is now under a bit of pressure. Stuart Green then with a corner, clips it in. Straight across to the far post. Jamie Forrester can collect. It'd be lovely if Forrester could get a goal this afternoon. Here's Ashby. Elliott and Forrester collide. Cross coming in. It's going to run to Stuart Green at the right hand side. Lays it back to Ashby. Little chip pass. Quinn's header out. And the go-go collects for Bristol and makes a mess of it. And Ryan France gets in ahead of him. Thelwell's back heel. Found Delaney. Now it's with Stuart Green. The fans are loving the one-touch football. Green finds Forrester. Alton Thelwell. A little shimmy from Thelwell, his party piece. Ashby to Thelwell. Now Delaney. Andy Dawson's in space and Delaney finds him. First time pass to France. Now out with Stuart Elliott on the left-hand side. Elliott's looking for Forrester, but the pass doesn't find him. Into the arms of Kevin Miller. Savage coming down the left for Bristol. Damien Delaney does well, makes space for himself, finds Ian Ashby. Thelwell's ball forward, finds Danny Alsop. Savage got in ahead of Ryan France, then Adam Barrett knocking it forward, but Ashby's there. Bristol Rovers throw. Henriksen going for the shot from some distance. Easily saved by Boaz Marhill into the final 10 minutes here. France to Thelwell, now Ian Ashby. Across to Delaney. Elliott finds Joseph, now it's with Alton Thelwell. Forrester to Ryan France. Elliott's little flick, cleared by Edwards. Thelwell finds Ryan France, coming forward France. Still Ryan France opening up for him. Oh, not quite enough power on the shot. Kevin Miller saves. Mark Joseph trying to get Danny Alsop away down the right, but it's a good tackle from Dave Savage. But to go-go, we were afraid, doesn't time his run right, and he's caught offside. And really, he shouldn't be caught offside so easily. Green to Forrester. Forrester fancies a little chip from some distance. Alsop couldn't quite get on the end of that one. Adam Barrett has it. Danny Williams across then with the Bristol sub, one of three of them. Quinn inside to Lescott. Danny Williams. Well, if the first half was perhaps somewhat forgettable, the second half has been anything but. Three cracking goals for the Tigers. And really, Bristol are looking fairly happy, I would think, at half-time. Have slipped away. They've even can't get it on target when they've been flagged offside. So many stewards around the perimeter. Fences today, the reason being for that, they don't want a pitch invasion. The Tigers will be presented with a small trophy from the Nationwide. after the game in recognition of finishing second in Division 3. Who joins them there in Division 2 next season, apart from Doncaster, depends on scores elsewhere this afternoon. Huddersfield and Torquay vying for third place. Dawson's cross to the far post. Kevin Miller had to stretch, but collected well. Well, is there another goal in this match, I wonder? 5 minutes left. The Tigers finished their home campaign last season scoring 4 against Kidderminster. Big Ben Burgess it was who got a hat-trick that day. Sadly sidelined through injury today, of course. But he is here this afternoon. Henriksen trying a little inside pass, but Agogo didn't quite read it, and in the end it ran through to Boaz Myhill. Here's Alton Thelwell on this right-hand side. Thelwell's ball forward, collected by Barrett. Henriksen gives it away to Ashby. Elliott finds Stuart Green. Green's got Dawson on the overlap, try to feed it through, might come to Forrester, it does. But Adam Barrett does well, bringing it forward. Damien Delaney, who's been pretty exemplary in this second half, wins the throw for the Tigers. And that is how popular he is with the fans in that corner, chanting his name there. Chance for Agogo to make some ground into the box. Cross coming over, Savage fancies his chances, can't get there. Ryan France breaks down the right-hand side. He's left the Bristol player on the floor. Ashby. Now Stuart Green. City haven't put the ball out. The Bristol player's close to the touchline. I think he could leave the field if he really wanted to. And Stuart Green does put it out. Well, in the end, I don't think he had to. I think if Dave Savage really wanted some treatment, he would have hobbled off before. Now he's slowly making his way backwards. Bristol return the ball to the Tigers. Here's Stuart Green having his name sung by the fans as Ian Ashby picks it up, looks for the runner Forrester. Quinn let it run through to his keeper. Joseph does well, battling away with Henriksen. Junior Agogo has it. Trying to work an opening with Henriksen. Delaney was wise to it, and so too Boaz Myhill, quickly off his line. Here's Stuart Green then finds Alton Thelwell. Ryan France just overran that one a little bit, and Bristol can bring it forward. Bo Henriksen has got Ali Gibb making a run down the right. Can Bristol salvage a late consolation goal? 1 minute of normal time left, plus a little bit of injury time, I suspect. Well, what a season it has been for Hull City. They're going to finish second in Division 3. Another convincing home performance this afternoon. After a quiet first half, they burst into life in the second, as Bristol have a little effort there from Adam Barrett just going over the bar. Hull City goal kick. And so Damien Delaney, he's had an excellent season, so too Stuart Elliott. And Danny Allsop, whose season's been affected by injury but still cracked the goals in, and Ryan France finds Alton Thelwell, another player who's had injury problems this season. Ian Ashby to Stuart Green, not long left. There's been some big wins at the KC this season. We've witnessed the hammering of Kidderminster, the thumping of Oxford, a comfortable home win over Doncaster at Christmas. Junior Gogo finds Ali Gibb. Bristol still searching for a late consolation. Joseph heads away. There's going to be a crescendo of noise in 2 minutes' time. Gibbs cross in, headed away by Alton Thelwell, got it well, and then Ryan France trying to find Allsop. Allsop battling with Adam Barrett. That's surely a free kick. Come on, referee. Nothing given but the advantage played, such as it was. Lauren Lescott gets it across to Ali Gibb. Feel sorry for Danny Allsop. He did convert the one chance that came his way. Battled hard this afternoon. He certainly was being fouled there.
Thank you.
Just counting down the seconds of football in Division 3. Next season the Tigers will be in Division 2. They deserve to be there. And the future looks very bright if you're a Hull City fan, as Delaney puts it through and Forrester breaking forward. Jamie Forrester trying to take it on the run. The shot in the end too weak to beat Miller, and that's the final whistle.